Aw, animals.
Mean wild turkeys messing with Ohio mail carriers. A big mess of angry wild turkeys are preventing mail carriers from delivering the mail in Rocky River, Ohio. The Postal Service let the city know that some carriers wouldn't be able to deliver mail because hostile turkeys were creating unsafe conditions. For the past 3 weeks, around 25 to 30 homes haven't been getting any mail thanks to the aggressive turkeys. Mail carriers don't have anything to scare the turkeys off, so people have had to end up going to the post office to get their mail. Unfortunately, the city can't go all guns and glory on the feathered foes due to a city ordinance. The city has instead told residents not to leave out any kind of bird food. Too bad, Thanksgiving is over. If you're a fan of feathers, keep watching. Revenge of the Wild Turkeys. There are a lot more turkeys in the Bay Area this year, and no, we don't mean on people's Thanksgiving tables. Flocks of turkeys have left the wild and are now running amok in suburban California. The wild birds are possibly the worst squatters ever, messing up properties, leaving their crap everywhere, and slowly taking over. Rude. They're also pretty aggressive and have been known to attack a mailman or two in their quest for suburban domination. Apparently, you're not supposed to feed the birds because they get cocky and start thinking they own the place. So what's a neighborhood to do? Well, it is the Thanksgiving season. If you can't drive them away, you may as well make like the Pilgrims and roast the damn birds. Don't forget the gravy.
Walmart greeter fired after wild turkey enters store. What do you do when a wild turkey walks through your door? That's the predicament 88-year-old Walmart greeter Bob Tallinger had to figure himself out of a few weeks back. On March 27th, Tallinger, a greeter for the past 8 years at the Waukesha Walmart in Wisconsin, was greeting customers when the rogue bird stormed through the sliding doors. Tallinger and others spent time trying to shoo the turkey out, but the bird had apparently come to peruse the aisles just like everyone else. Eventually, as the turkey browsed the patio section, a member of the local Humane Animal Welfare Society was able to lure it into a net. The bird was later released, and so too was poor Bob Tallinger, upon being told he should have reported the unwelcome customer to a manager. Local news media interviewed Bob and his wife after the firing, who said Bob's job was to greet people, which he was excellent at. The old man was never made aware of staff protocol in the event a wild turkey snuck in. When reached for comment, Walmart issued a statement saying, quote, "We appreciate the public's concern and take this situation seriously. While we will not comment on HR matters, we can confirm Mr. Tallinger is no longer with the company." Fortunately, Bob's been recruited and hired at a local nonprofit consignment shop. Greet on, Bob. Greet on.
Bird in cockpit forces Delta flight to turn around. A Hotlanta-bound Delta flight was forced to hang a U-ey after the crew found a bird flying around the cockpit. Before the flight, the pilot happened to see a sparrow board the plane, causing the flight to be delayed as crew and maintenance workers searched for the little feathered fellow. After a delay and an unsuccessful search attempt, the pilot decided to take off. Wouldn't you know it, shortly after the aircraft took off, the sparrow reappeared again in the cockpit, so the pilot decided to turn the plane back around. After getting back to Detroit Metro Airport, crews were finally able to grab the little guy and get him off the plane. In the end, after a considerable delay, the flight eventually made its way down to Atlanta. No word on what airline the sparrow ended up taking. Startup is training crows to pick up cigarette butts. Tired of looking at cigarette butts littering the streets? A Dutch startup might just have the answer. Crows are highly intelligent and are able to make and use tools. Cigarette butts are the most littered item on the planet, with an estimated 4.5 trillion butts thrown away each year. The startup Crowded Cities plans to use the crowbar, a device with a funnel for cigarette butts and a dispenser, to teach crows to pick up cigarette butts in exchange for food. It trains the crows using a 4-step process. The first step presents food next to a cigarette butt, training the birds to expect food from the machine. Second, the machine only gives out food after the crow arrives. Third, the device only presents a cigarette butt with no food. The crow then starts to look for the food and, in the process, knocks the butt into the funnel, dispensing the food. The fourth step involves removing the cigarette butt, but leaving them scattered around the crowbar. The crow will then start to pick up butts they find and bring them back to the machine. The next step for researchers will be to study how collecting toxic cigarette butts affects the crows.